Peace. I am back here. I'm wondering about some other things. Um, but today's the knowledge day. One is knowledge. And aside from the seventh day, this is probably the most poorly built on question. So, like I was telling one of the gods, everybody's going to be wrong today. Everybody's going to be wrong today. We're going to come up. We're going to come up with a counter for everything. But some of the things I'll address. For those that have emailed me and stuff, I'm gonna get back to you. I'm trying to finish a book. Um, it's like I work at the post office with this book. It just every time I think I've dwindled down the list, it gets bigger. So it's a lot of music. So I didn't realize I had the book open. See how many pages it would come out to that you all know so far. Approximate. Yeah, approximately 393. So that it's easily over 400 because there's other things to add. So I like to take this time in the beginning to get everybody's answers, builds, insights, questions. Peace to the God. All right. Yeah, some other stuff too. Let me see if I open this thing too. That I saw that I wasn't really happy with. I gotta add on a little bit about it. I did have somebody ask me, now that you're in the added on, come on. I did have somebody ask me, the God asked me about Saladin's latest article, in a short answer, I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. You said I have a question regarding the flag. Why are there more breakdowns of it outside of what Shamgar defined? And I think it's like anything, I think it's like anything. God, people see, people have it, they wear it, they have mathematics, they have, they have 120 and stuff, and they just start to see different things in it. So I don't know, I don't know if I bear witness to all of the detailed things that they be seeing in it. But I haven't heard a build about the flag that I know wasn't really from Shamgod that I find egregious like that. I find them excessively unnecessary, I don't think, from what I remember, I don't think Shamgod was obsessed with the angles obsessively. He may have drawn it that way, but he didn't. I don't think that he consciously knew it was that particular. But again, it's okay because I think that he'd be okay with that. But it would have to be the particular things. I think that, man, there's so many. I don't. There's so many. We have more rules and regulations than we have laws. You know what I'm saying? And we're all busy making rules and regulations. Um, yeah, not the 220 points. Yeah, the 22 points on the flag and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It should be able to break it down. Why can't you do it? No, but I forget the points. Like 5 is the star, 1 is 2. I forget, but it adds up. You know what I mean? It adds up. You know. Um, what I'm saying is like we have these things. We have these things, and sometimes we come up with things, but they don't have much longevity because the idea, like this is 22 points, right? It's nothing. I think that since we deal with being right and exact, we would draw the flag as exactly as we can. You know what I mean? Um, like we would draw as precise as we can. And so then the angles would come out. But as far as a teaching tool, does it really add on to the major point? Black family is the flag. Like if people notice when I'm first building on it, I don't give too much about it. I don't give too much into it because it's as simple as supreme mathematics. The symbol was supposed to be simple. And so that way, if you looked at the symbol and when people think, oh, it's esoteric or oh, what's that, an Illuminati symbol, like the 85 or whatever, then that means that they're scared of the universe that they live in. You know what I mean? Scared of the sun, moon, star, like, and that's real though. That's real. People that are averse to the earth are scared of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the typo. Yeah, no, but I knew what you meant though. I knew what you meant. Yeah, it's like 2 points. Yeah, yeah. I've been in Cyprus with big arguments though, but in the end though, I leave and I don't really have much to go on it. You know what I'm saying? There's not much that I learned, um, to use with that, right? What am I gonna do with that? It's great. It's great. Like if I was drawing a flag, I have no artistic ability, so I can't even. You give me all the points, the exact ways and stuff. I still would draw it badly, but yeah, they're just add-ons. I don't think that's the most important thing. To emphasize, to get nuts over. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it is. Yeah, so I'm here a little earlier because I didn't get to come here last week. You know, I don't have too many opportunities. It's been an adjustment with all COVID and everything like that. So, my young daughter, I try to spend time with her on holidays that she doesn't quite understand. They understand the fun of it. They understand the eating of it. She likes to eat, and I already have her eating a very particular diet, and she's very particular. Um, so I thought that was that was more important. You know, Unfortunately, like the weather, I'm far away from the school, so it couldn't be those things where I would take her with me. So it wouldn't be like a good trip. But the school was closed and nobody was here. So if I would have been here, I would have been the one here, which wouldn't have been a problem. Again, that wouldn't have been the reason. All right. My daughter lost it when I had to show her all the Slavs verses in the Bible, which started off with me building with her about the holidays. Yeah, yeah, yo, I don't know how old your daughter is, you know what I mean? But like, I don't think my daughter is. They kind of expect this from me, you know what I mean? Even at the young age, my youngest one is. They expect that. But one thing is for sure though is that the contrast of the way that they're taught. You know, and I just find it even more hypocritical. Yeah, slaves. I read it Slavs. I thought you were saying Slavs, slaves, right? But what I find interesting, and I've always hated the holiday because it's a historical holiday. The others are religious though, so we can. It's okay, you know. I understand people's beliefs, so even if they know it's not true, they want to believe in it. But the Thanksgiving is like, well, it is a lie, but we're gonna change the celebration to be family, and I understand that as well. But I think that people that are conscious in some way and have control of the cipher that they're in, that's the important thing. Those who have control of the cipher. I'm not talking about, you got your family, but you end up visiting the larger family. You know what I'm saying? That's different because you don't really have control of that cipher. But if you're in your own household and you say, listen, this we're here, we're all here, and it's rare. But then it's a family day, but give some education. Give some education. Because one thing that's being lost, and I'll just make this note, one thing that's being lost with the FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and there's even some particular scholar, I'm disappointed with the way he uses that term as a viable fucking term. But what people don't get is that when Thanksgiving comes, it'll only be suitable for the so-called African American, Black American, unless he has the pseudo fact that he is the actual Native American. And it's not really the case completely. The truth is that the original man is the indigenous man here. You know what I'm saying? And there were Black Americans that have a lineage of people being brought here. And there are Black Americans there are original indigenous people that was here. You know what I mean? And us being the 5%, we know that we come in 16 shades. So we know that they're all original. And that type of camaraderie, that type of understanding of the knowledge, that's something that should be something that should be dealt with though. If you're dealing with that devil's holiday, and schools are becoming more hypocritical because they don't know how to do any of this stuff. If they teach things, they teach it extreme. If they teach things, they don't know what they're doing. Columbus Day is Indigenous Day, but then they'll do Thanksgiving fully. And it's like Thanksgiving is the actual celebration. That's the Super Bowl of Indian genocide. You know what I mean? Columbus Day is the playoffs. That's the start of the playoffs. But the Super Bowl, Thanksgiving is a Super Bowl of celebrating Indian genocide. You can't reappropriate the holiday if you don't make it appropriate. So that's my main issue. And with the children now, they're being taught that Columbus Day is Indigenous Day. And then we fast forward to the one that you really do stuff on, the one that really counts, where all of the ideas and the lack of knowledge of indigenous people here is ignored. You know what I'm saying? So that's a problem. You know what I mean? It's a problem. But I'll try to take everybody's question, Rakeem. That includes you, anybody's questions, and do the best I can. I realized I was feeling, why do I have a sore throat? I'm really taking all the nutrients I need, and I forgot that I was, Kinko, you laugh at this. I didn't tell you, I'm trying to finish the short album I'm doing for myself before I dive into the one we're doing. And I did the hardest song to do. I'll tell you about it later. The hardest song to do it's a really long song, and I wanted to do the whole verse in one take. So it has that character. Like I'm just there talking, they're rhyming, they're whatever. And when I tell you what it is, then you see. But I'm not used to this though. I'm not a rapper, so it took mad takes. And then when I got the take down, it was too fast. I was like, yo, this tempo is too fast. I'm so trying to make sure I can actually lyrically have dexterity that I actually did the verse too fast. So that shit took me like maybe over 2 whole hours, separate 1 hour times. You know what I'm saying? But it was all because of a woman. I didn't, word is bond. I didn't get the take right until a particular woman called me. And I said, "Oh man, she want to talk? I gotta make sure I get this verse down, because then I won't be able to talk to her." But yeah, that's funny, man. It's crazy stuff, man. VC realm, yeah. Again, any questions that you have, though? I had a question here. I don't know if the guy wanted me to answer, but I had read, and since I'm at a law school, I'm going to tell you this, though. My position on the law school in Mecca. I've helped, and I've been on boards to be secretary. I have helped write bylaws here in this school, the bylaws. Like people think I'm just getting in front of a computer and stuff. Every single thing you could do in this school, I've done. You know what I mean? And over the years, what I found is that what the school needs is, it does need financial management. It does need brothers that know how to do that. It does need us to agree on a vision. Sure. But a lot of people don't understand that there's so much that we could do, but it is not easier said than done. You could have all the experience in the world running things, and I'm saying this because I'm commenting on a particular video piece that I saw that Saladin wrote, and I didn't like it though. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like where it came from. I'm a little disappointed by that, but unfortunately, I'm not surprised though. But in this school, the whole point was to do stuff without anyone's help. And I'm going to tell you this, though. As someone that, people see me with polo, they see me with this. They don't understand the struggles that I go through on a daily basis. You know what I mean? They have no idea. And they don't understand the sacrifice that certain elders put in, because they'll see this individual's drug use, they'll see that, they'll see the other. They don't understand how difficult it was to establish this. You know what I mean? To establish this, though, with no one having a power over it. Absolutely no one. And it's difficult to see so many people come through this school, though, and have the abilities to navigate the devil's civilization over the years, and not quite be able to contribute, sometimes through no fault of their own. Although I'm not going to excuse any of that, because I'm still here. There are so many reasons not to contribute to this school. You tell a group of men that they're the true and living God. The problem is that they actually are, and they're going to butt heads about it. You know what I mean? They're going to butt heads about how do we decide the best knower in each situation. This is not easier said than done. Everybody is successful in their undertakings, though, but they're not successful in a group of a whole bunch of guys, a whole lineage of elders that established this. I want to know there is no precedent that you can compare what is being done here anywhere else in the world. But before I say the world, I'm going to say anybody else that sets up their own school, anybody else with the knowledge that is building with brothers and teaching, there is no precedent. This is the precedent. Whatever tools that you deal with outside came from here, as far as how to build it. And if you were able to do it better, it's because you dealt with things that you did not ever have to deal with in here. That's a fact. That's a fact. People talk about their community building and it's all peace, you know, like they're experts. I respect it. But this is a different league here. This is a different league. That's all I'm going to say about that. And over the years, I've seen that because I did everything you could do here. And when people say, like, Sunez, what do you do? I have decided to make sure that there is a standard of education here, that there is someone here that could say they represent this on an educational level, because it is a school. It is a school. And that has been very difficult. That is extremely difficult. Right? I think people will say in this article, all of this, you know, Saladin talked about. First of all, I'm going to say this, right? Saladin made a lot of good points that needed to be brought up with other people in the nation. But the truth is that he can't do that. Because in the article, he's talking about with the gods, we do things a different way. And he says he had, and to me, it just felt like he was bringing up, you know, his own entire "I told you so" piece. This is why I got the trademark thing, and this is why I put us in with the gut. Don't speak about the way that we're supposed to be to justify something that you got for us, supposedly, that wasn't done the way that we do it. Don't say this is the way the gods we build and we don't deal with the government. We don't do this. Tell us about our way of life while you did something that wasn't the way that we do it. That doesn't make sense to me. And then you say don't put parliaments, don't put anything on the on the YouTube, just in case there's any bickering shit like that. What was the article then? You know, there's belligerent bickering, and then there's passive aggressive bickering. And the passive aggressive is that when you write, you can do it one-sided and say, listen, this is why I was saying y'all don't really know what you're doing, but I do. That's why I prefaced this article. Anytime somebody preface with their resume, it means they're gonna tell you that they don't have what it takes. That's what I read there. That's what I read there. And I'm saying this because I disagree. I disagree with the entire article. Because everything in there might sound good, though, but not everything sounds good until you're in the field. Don't talk about legality. Don't talk about this. Don't talk about that until you're in the field taking a shot. This is a different game. This is a different reality. And you know what? I'm not the one to explain it to you. Because my job was clear. My job is to make sure that someone says that there is something being taught here with its own curriculum, with its own detail, with its own utilized tools, books, resources, references. Because that was the best role for me to have. That was the best role for me to take. And I took it and I have it and I manifested. And I am disappointed. Not just as Saladin, I am disappointed in general. I'm disappointed, though, that, yes, I'm not surprised, but so many people have been able to elevate with this knowledge. I'm not talking about just rappers, though, but people that make viable realities for themselves. Something that some of us, and that could include me, because I struggle. But people have made viable financial realities for themselves, lives for themselves, using the principles of this mathematics for themselves, in the guise of the letter S, knowledge born, save self before they save others. And the other part never seems to happen. The other part never seems to come up. And if you come here trying to help the way you feel like helping because you saved yourself, what always happens is that, listen, I can't bring my expertise here because they don't want to do it the way I want to do it. Because everybody comes in, though, as a general of a field. And this is like the NBA. But everything you did out in the real world, though, is college hoops. When you come into the door here, everything is NBA. You just dominated in your cipher, in your small town. I don't care where it is. That includes the biggest MC, the biggest rapper, the biggest act. You just dominated in your hometown. People don't understand that because they don't understand the history of these elders, what they saw, what they really lived, what they went through, and what they had to do to get this stuff and to secure this and to keep it. And the difficulties with doing that. The things, the partnerships that would have made things easier but would have been a compromise, and we had to say no. People think like, oh, there's a poverty here, things like that. There's a long list of mistakes, but there's a long list of we won't do that because we're not about that. That a lot of people in their regular life, as a lone 5%er, would not do. And the Father wouldn't want you to do. But here in this school, it's different. Just like I was telling God, come on, right? There is a difference. I'm not saying I learned things on a genius level, and any other gods that have this knowledge and walk with it, talk with it. That's not what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is, when I learned to teach here, though, I was taught to be able to teach in such a way that represents the entire nation. And to make it very clear what is different from what I'm doing than what else. That's why everybody that learns with me knows exactly why I'm different, even if they couldn't articulate it. Because after a while, I realized that there's no such thing as representing only the nation. You have to represent your own understanding too. Even if you can show and prove that understanding, it is distinct. Peace to the God, infinite mind. I only got heart. We only got the beginning of that. But essentially, though, this long list of mistakes, this long list of things that we need to do, you know? Yeah. The way to solve these problems, God, and you know this infinite mind, it's like it's almost totally different than anywhere else you would go. You know? But for all the acumen, for all the success, capability, usefulness that Saladin brings to the world and the ciphers around him where he adds on, I thought that the piece that he wrote, though, was the most articulately petty piece that I've ever read in my fucking life. You know what I mean? And I'm being abrasive saying that. I am. I'm being abrasive saying that because it shouldn't have been written. right? So I'm going to give the link here. I'm going to take a little break here and let people look at it though, because he put it out there. I didn't. If anybody has any questions, I'll try to answer it as best as I can. All right. Of course, nobody read the whole thing while I was in, but see, I'm trying to find something that really irks me in this shit. As 5%ers, quote unquote, as 5%ers, we're supposed to live according to our word is bond and bond is life. That's not a city government's policy, nor its legal department's policy. End quote. But then the next paragraph, quote, while I commend the gods for their will and concern to move us collectively forward, I think that it was premature, etc., end quote. It's not supposed to be any bickering. Don't put it on the web. Put his thoughts on the web. I don't know, man. Rakeem, you said they say the son and the father are not one and the same. I don't see that and wasn't taught that. Yeah. I won't even read the end of that until I say this. I ain't never heard that the son and the father are not one and the same. That's some bullshit. I know I'm my own man, but I am from my father. Me and him are one. Father and son are one and the same. Like, that's a way of deifying the father to be beyond um, the son. If anything, the son is greater than the father, or else the father was never great. Kamal, you said, have you ever felt that teaching at the school to the world who you open yourself up to is a lot of pressure from a huge weight of responsibility? You know what? I'm going to keep it real, right? You don't notice the things that are the response that are heavy until you take a look around and see what you sacrificed it. You know, um, you see it when people fall out, whether relationships, the life you live, people that don't really you thought they did support or wouldn't be in the way, they get in the way. So you don't notice these things until you look back and realize that you're the only one that's doing that. And so you end up realizing you have a totally different life than everybody else. So on that level, yeah, but this is the way I am. This is who I am. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily a weight. It's certainly a responsibility, but it doesn't feel like a weight. You know what I mean? Because when I was I was taught to add on with the real skills that I have. And so it is not difficult to do what I'm doing, you know? And it's a sacrifice that I chose to do that was seemed easy enough week by week, but becomes more monumental the longer you do it though. That's a fact, you know? So you don't realize it until you've done it for a long time. It's like, wow, I didn't know I sacrificed that much. But I did, you know? So I don't know if I felt the weight of that, you know? I'm just disappointed because, and I'm saying it straight because you'll probably hear of it though. For Saladin to write something like that means that he has no access to the older gods. That he has no access to the gods here and nobody's paying attention to him. And so he's going to throw out his ideas, which he thinks are good. Mind you, I didn't say that they weren't good. You know? I'm saying that the situations here are so unique, though, that the ideas you think you have that are good, the ideas that you think have our expertise, they may mean jack shit here. You know? People think that you think that, you know, we're talking about government this, talk government that. Do some research, though, and find a precedent like this that exists in New York. It's not too many, if there are any at all. This is different here. This is different. You know, so it became a big thing on the internet. It was him who was putting it out there at first. I got this, I got that. And it had a lot of insufficient claims for why it was necessary to stop rappers from saying shit. Rappers can say whatever they want, though. They already said that they killed 50 people. How are they going to be held liable for saying that they're the true and living God? I find it so funny too, as a hip hop journalist, that I have to go out there and say, listen, this guy is not the true and living God. He's not writing exact. Then the rest of his album, no, nobody's, but that was okay. Everything is, if he killed 50 niggas though, that would be okay, right? Because if you're actually on the street though, you have killed everything in sight. It's a war zone. It's an absolute war zone. But he made a mistake because he did something for the collective without telling the collective. It's that simple. Then he does it again by criticizing the collective instead of going to the collective. What are we fucking doing here? I don't understand. Infinite Mind, you know, you want to buy a cupcake for the school, you gotta tell somebody. You know what I mean? All right. Give me about a few minutes though. My little girl is calling me. That's why you got the nice, soft music here. Right? All right. If yeah, 7930 said still no acceptance of responsibility nor keeping the protocol to how things are done, have it done at the root. I gave you the article. That wasn't, you know. I don't know, man. Simply put, that's why it smells. Peace to the earth. 7930. Yeah. Yeah. The yeah, infinite mind. You said arrogance is a hell of a trait, and that's a result of always thinking someone is the best knower. You know, I don't know. I don't. It bugs me out. Like, you know, you're telling somebody not to expose things, but you're exposing. Like, and you're doing it because you're basically trying to say, well, your counter is going to be, well, you don't want to hear it from me anyway. You didn't let me add on. You know, and again, I know in this cipher that I see here, Infinite Mind knows exactly what I'm talking about. That baton, though, is hard to pull from the elder. It's hard to pull the baton from the elder. You know what I'm saying? They got you running in place on this relay with them. You know what I mean? But with certain things, that baton is let go. You know what I mean? That baton is eventually let go. But you gotta show and prove. You gotta have the years. You gotta have certain work put in. You know what I mean? And I got my own thoughts and ideas and stuff about why he might have done that and shit like that. But it's just not the right move. You know what I mean? It's not the right move. It don't belong that way. That's not the way you build. If you said I notice people who have been successful always think, yeah, of their success because of their success they know best. Yeah. Successful here is a totally different story. And that's one of the big lessons that I learned about teaching here at the school. You know, if I tell people that I've been here over 22 years teaching, and that the one thing that you learn, though, is that you cannot teach people just because you relate to them. You have to have a certain level of empathy and also understand that you don't know everything about people's realities. You only know what is told to you, and even if what is told to you is the truth, it still may not be everything. And you're trying to find solutions for people, but you don't know everything. And so you're giving insights, you're giving tools, You're giving a forum. But this is definitely the cipher that'll show you that you thought you knew, but you didn't really know. G, you said, I smells good. I always forget your righteous name. You said I haven't finished the article because however, it reads like an outside point of view from the inside, not near the center. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, and that's peace, infinite mind. Yeah, it reads like that because he knows that, or he probably felt that he couldn't pitch this, and maybe with the guys that are doing it, maybe they didn't want to hear from him. You know what I mean? But you can't give advice like that. You can't say don't put this out there and don't have arguments about this out there because they can use anything. And then you're gonna tell us like, well, you messing up and this is what I'm telling you to do. I'm right here at the root though, and I haven't been abreast to the situations. That's not my role here. That's not my role. Peace, true self. That's peace. I try to remember. But that's not my role here. Not for a long time. So I get updated as things go on. And my role is to teach her as long as this thing is up. As long as I'm here. That's peace 7 I appreciate those words. But you know what too? It's how we react though. To many of the students that I have though, I'm their elder. And if I bomb you though, you don't go out and be petty like that. You come back in the cipher and you show and prove again. And there's always a conflict because we're street education. We have the school here, but it's really street education. That's really where this thing is taught. This is not where most of everything is taught. This is where everything is cleared up. You know what I mean? If we generalize the entire nation, this is where things are cleared up, which is very important. And when you look at it like that, there's always a conflict, and I know it better than anybody, between the more orthodox versus the unorthodox approach of teaching, of sharing, of building. But if you really know what you're doing, though, you show and prove the validity of it. You show and prove that the ways that we deal with stuff are also shown and proven within the new models or the models of the Western world or educational world or whatever it is that you are appropriating and using. He thought that weight was heavy. I had to teach here for years, and people was getting on me for teaching about reading books. I didn't just walk out. I said, no, you got to show and prove that what I'm doing is also showing 120. It's also showing the math, the alphabet, the principles, the ethos we deal with. Come on, man. You got to know how to get bombed. You know what I mean? He's going to bomb you, and then they become Starscream over here. You know? You didn't get bombed by Megatron, so what are you being Starscream for? You know? He's out there flying away going, I can run this better. Like, come on, man. That ain't it. If you said, I'm just to know what you know, but it also means to know what you don't know. That to me displays humility. Know the ledges to know your limits. Yeah, how much I'm spending with that, right? I tell people like the strength of what I know. People always seem that I have an answer. I'm equipped to tell you what I don't know of. I'm not reading that and saying, listen, that's not the answer. This is the answer. We're going to do this for the school. I know about the financial plan and this. Man, I don't even have the best financial plans for Sunez. You know what I mean? I just make dope shit. That's what I do. The financial plan is still working itself out. You know? But you're not going to get a best knower if you don't show and prove that you're the best knower and capable of taking the mission. You know? You got to be capable of taking the mission. You got to be capable of taking the criticism. I'm disappointed in that. You know? Joel, you said skimming through it from the perspective of a professional seems as an externalization of something that should be kept internally. While he tells us not to keep it externally. And like I said, I don't want, I'm not going to comment about all that. You know? I'm not going to comment on all that. You know, I've seen the fight. I've learned about the fight for this school. The school has always been fought for. There was no moment where people were like resting on their laurels and relaxing, you know? We'll tell people, yeah, we own the buildings. Nobody was like this saying, yeah, we own this forever though. We all good. Never. We never trusted anything. Now, the things that we could do, whatever, of course. But be that person that gives the resources. Not just tells everybody, listen, I got the plan, but they didn't want to fuck with me. That's what you just wrote. I know what to do, but they didn't want to do it because they didn't do this other thing that I told them to do. So, yeah, this school is, it's got a lot of my life in it. So I'm going to be intense about it. If there was no internet here, I'd be sitting in this room by myself. If there was no streaming, I'd be sitting in this room by myself. And brothers like Infinite Mind, they know that to be so. Because if I'm here, there's always a student here, and I take out my books and I start writing. I take out my books and I start reading. That's the way I teach it. That's the education here. We learn until there's someone to teach. What's going to help this school all the time, though, is someone learn truly what they know how to do and come do it. Get your fucking ass down here and do it. Find out what everybody else is doing and add on. My name is Sunez, Savior of the universe, now shows and proves the equality of zigzag zig. And I didn't come here with a damn S on my chest. I came here to learn and to add on. People come here with the S on the chest, and that's why they don't really do much. They didn't do the knowledge to what everybody else is doing. They didn't respect how difficult it is to man some type of school that has no funding, that has refused funding for what? Principles of integrity. People laugh. They like that. They think they love the double standard. They want to have it where the school is rich and wealthy and all that stuff and has all this financial backing. But then they also want it to be a place of complete, unadulterated, 100% pure and untampered with integrity. That is not the 100% excuse of what we're dealing with here. But it is a huge factor. $793, you said that intense and serious training of a righteous man, I guess, helped and allow you not to be petty even when wrong. Listen, God, Even when I'm right, I keep probing to see if I could do something better. Because when you get into a conflict, when you are correct, and you get into a conflict and it becomes a bigger than it should be thing, that also means that there might have been a problem in the way that you communicated you're right. So there's always something to do better. Infinite Mind, you said, I think society needs to move away from the Messiah complex, the idea of philosopher king, 24th scientist, CEO, head of the table, boss, etc. That pyramid structure doesn't always work, and I've seen too many come into this knowledge and bring this mentality to the culture. Our lessons tell us that social needs to advocate a group of men, a society of men, for one common cause. Not, I got the answer, I told you. You know, and they sound like good answers, though. You know? But you do that when something is done and nothing can be done about it. You know? They finished the album already. They can't do it all over again. I'm going to talk my shit about it. I'm going to tell you where it's wrong, where it's good, what happened to it. It's finished already. You can't do anything about it. You know? That's not this. This isn't, you know? You could have reached out and said, listen, I know, like, I left everybody wondering about this, that, but I'm going to throw these things out there. I really think that they're useful, and I want to add on. And let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you something. Let's say he did that, and they gave him the finger, right? They said, no, we're not doing anything you say just because of what you did, and we not cool with that. I don't know. I don't know anything. But I'm a 5%. I'm the true living God. And that just means that the family don't want to deal with that with you. I'm going to keep building on my own. I'm going to keep those thoughts to myself. You know? I tell you though, like if we was actually like in physical war, this guy would have gave up the battle plans though, because we didn't want to attack at Mount Morris. You know what I mean? We didn't want to go up. We didn't want to go up the hill on a sunny day. You know? But it's like unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. That's right. That's right, 793. You know, but I find it interesting. You know what I'm saying? One way to know that you're being petty is ask yourself, what is today's map? Today's map is knowledge. Knowledge. What is actually truthful? Everything in that article is not truthful. Everything in that article is what you saw. Everything in that article is what you think should be done based on what you've seen here and some information that you looked up. That's not enough. That's not enough knowledge, not enough information. When I said that we had to learn to represent the school and not just ourselves, is that in that article, he's representing himself. If you're representing the nation as well, you'd have never wrote that piece. You'd have never wrote that piece. You know? That shit is crazy right there. It's just bugging. You know? It's bugging. And even still, come on, I'm not gonna write about the album you and him did and say it's a piece of crap all of a sudden. No, I'm not. It's really a great album, though. I'm not gonna dart it like that. Because Kamal's my man, though. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, nah, we gotta do better than that, man. Yo, you know, Infinite, you're here like. Imagine if we acted petty when an elder was a jerk with us. Oh my goodness, though. Seriously, like, or or an elder was mean to us, though. There are elders that are iconicized that were assholes with me, that were jerks, that were mean to me and everything. And sometimes they genuinely didn't like me, though. But even then, no, it was grooming. What type of response will I have? Well, I have a response that is worthy of representing this. So people's arrogance, like, yeah, I'm not going to let nobody disrespect me. I'm going to be tough or everything like that. Yeah, think about that. Think about that. When you think you're in a school that it's okay to do whatever you want all the time, now there's decorum. There's, right? And people wasn't taught that, but they think they could represent this nation. Like the whole thing. But they don't even know the decorum, though. I see God, I can't tell you. I didn't particularly understand that either. And if that was the play, though, if that's the play, that's like the biggest dry snitch. Like he tells the world that we don't have money. Like that's what he's saying. We don't have no financial plan, nothing like that, right? And like I said, I don't know. I haven't been doing analysis to what the God's been doing. But then if that was the case, though, why would you just blow that up, though? If that's going to happen. I'm not taking anything on face value in that piece, though. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't the one to say that. He wasn't the one to say that. If these suggestions were so important, you'd have gave them away for free to the gods that you were talking about in that piece. And you would say, listen, please give me your email. I'm going to send you stuff. If you want, just take the best part. I'm just trying to add on. And then if they didn't and they said, no, we don't want it, then you don't do anything. You don't do anything. Because you know what, though? I'm going to keep it real. In this endeavor here, when you do stuff like that, this school falters and stuff, you had something to do with that. I don't know how much, but you had something to do with that. Because this whole thing is a war. And you out here opening your mouth. Supposed to learn how to fight, though, so the brothers that you fight with against everybody, you could turn your back and they would have you. Would I? I'll train harder. That's all I can say. I'll train harder. I won't take any help. It's crazy. I don't know why this is so hard to comprehend, but if we're going to do the knowledge, if today's the knowledge day, we're going to learn about etiquette and principles. Ethos. You know what saves a school? Everybody in the New York City area figure out what they can do and add on. You can't add on? Then come here when someone else is adding on and show you support. Bring somebody to the school. Suggest, if you can teach something, you suggest something. If you could make something, you make something. It's simple. It ain't no, Yeah, and that's what, in the end, when he pulled that out at the end, you said it's because he's still trying to justify his actions about the trademark is right and exact. He's being defensive. Yeah. Unnecessary, man. Unnecessary. Listen, for me, I'm going to keep it real. He's an excellent writer. And a lot of his books, I feel like they're not. He does something that I've always disagreed with. He writes books in the depth of our language, explaining exactly how we live, supposedly, what we do, and how we behave. But he writes that for the populace. See? And like he's instructing the populace how we move. And I don't write like that. I don't write like that. I take the understanding that we could give to the populace, the understanding that we could share. I don't even deal with women that I'm talking to and saying, this is what we do. This is what we do. No, they'll see it as they go along. They're going to see the righteousness. They're going to see it, though, and it's going to be explained. It's like where you put your understanding, though. Like Dawood wrote a lot of books, right? Remember the Perfection of God. He wrote a lot of books, but his books were for the nation. Deep, they were really deeper plus lessons in a long, elongated form. And he gave those, and he sold those within the nation. You know what I mean? That's what they really were for. That was his market. That was who he was giving it to. You know? When I edited The Righteous Way, Starmount, I didn't have to tell him the lane to pick. It was like, this is for the populace, the 85, those who don't know, and what they could do to come in and add on or learn from us, even if they're not interested in being part of this. Because all of those, everybody gets taught. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. Right? Supreme Understandings books, they're not telling you when you get the flag, you do this, you do. No. He's writing books for the people that we were taught how to teach. I just did my Peace Course book. I didn't even bring my copy. Those essays are very articulate, you know, they're concentrated, woven. But I didn't put anything in there that it's for the people to see the depth of what we teach. The depth of what we have to share. But it's not really telling them like, yo, this is the way you become this, the way you do this, this is how we move. I don't do that. Those pieces they're not in there. They're not in there. The ones that seem like they're in there, they're not in there. So I don't know. It's something to learn from. It's something to learn from, man. You know? This is something that was taught in the street, that has a decorum of protection, not for illegality, but for the protection of ourselves and of its integrity, of its worth, and anyone with a more orthodox way of teaching, and that includes me, is supposed to show and prove that it is viable within this format. That's why I had patience. That's why I was like, hold on, it's going to work. This is why. You got to know how to do it. I knew how to do it. You know what I see? You know, I agree with you. I thought that the language was confusing, and that's because you don't know who he's talking to. He keeps saying that we the 5%ers, but he's talking to all the 5%ers as if he's telling the whole tribe about those guys at Mecca. But he's not talking to nobody else in the tribe. He's talking to what? The 85, the populace, the same government that he's saying us not to talk to. That's who he's talking to. Don't let them see you bickering, though, as he writes a passive-aggressive bickering note. Where are we doing that? Where do we do that? Yeah, it's I told you so piece, though. You know what I mean? You know, Q Bismarcky. I always liked that song. I told you. Bismarcky. Yeah, because we didn't trademark the flag and listen to you. And he actually put it at the end that we trademarked the flag, and he did it for just this type of occasion. To show and prove that we build it? To show and prove that we building. To show and prove that this is a viable thing. You know what? I thought Inf Mega did that already with the Allah School in Mecca page, the YouTube page, with hundreds of hours of videos from brothers all over the world and in the school. I thought he did that already. You didn't do that. You weren't doing that. He did that. Inf Mega did that. You didn't do that. What's going on at the school, though? How much things are going on? Who's teaching? Nobody knew how long I was teaching here, though. I was just here. He put all these videos out there, you know? And I got all these wonderful trolls, too. But he showed the world, yo, we was doing stuff here. We was doing stuff here. And the stuff that came out of here influenced the whole world. So nobody can say like, yo, nothing gets done here, this and that. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. If you said I gave you a gift, that's Jam God's gift to us. You didn't do nothing but ask the devil we could own our own flag. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's not really a favor. And I don't see how that equates to this. You know what I mean? I don't see it. I don't see it at all. You know what I mean? You know? We have to do better. We have to do better for our nation. You know what I'm saying? If you're in this area, if you're in the New York City area, you gotta come here. And you don't have to come here in the barren weekdays and shit. No, don't start like that. Come to the parliament. Come during the weekend. You know? Watch what's going on. Do the knowledge. You got a social media, share the things that's going on. We have facilities here. You know? We have facilities. We have computers here. I don't know if we could hold a whole computer class. I don't know the consistency of all the computers. But people that know it, they can instruct people on a tutor basis, all these kind of things. There's so many things that can be done here. But first, we got to know what knowledge is. And knowing knowledge is separating what is a truth from your emotions with that truth. Okay, so let's say everything he said is 100%. What is knowledge and what are your emotions? Because now knowledge is never just knowledge. Like you know when we said I gave you knowledge, and no one gives you knowledge. They give you understanding because there is their emotional output with it. Just like somebody says, listen, Sunya was dropping shit, whatever. There is emotional output with it. That wisdom, it is in there. It becomes something. And when I share that understanding through my wisdom, it is something totally different than the knowledge that have gone in. So when you're dealing with knowledge, though, that's why we deal with the degrees separate. It's all the same thing. It's just one. Tonight, nothing happens 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. That's not how life works. The reason we separate them is because just this such occasion. What is the truth here? And then now, however I deliver this truth, use this truth, hold this truth, what type of emotional reality am I going to interact with it to make it be an understanding of my own? And is that understanding to be shared in this way or that way or no way? That's what we need to learn. Ego is massive. Massive. Like huge. You know? We gotta do better than that. You know what I'm saying? Ah, man. Charles Black, peace, word be the message. Ego gets in the way sometimes. I hear people talk and they delivery just completely turns me away. Everyone wants to be smarter than the next man. The reason so many people have learned from me is because there is such a clear distinction of what I don't know. And the things that I don't know and I most likely won't know, I spend a lot of time also as a teacher trying to help people find the way to the answers that cannot be answered by myself. A teacher gives forums. A builder gives forums. Saladin has a lot of expertise in dealing with governments and things like that. Lend it though. Don't do shit like that. Seven said wants to pat on the back or head or via support for doing so. It's unnecessary, man. Unnecessary. Ahmad, you said peace, Sunez Allah. I'm about to email you too. My says please read and critique. Okay, that's peace. That's peace. In between this hellish book that I'm finishing, you know, like I said, for those that don't know, I write a lot of books, but I'm writing the reel of 2022. It is a complete book. It has over 500 albums reviewed in detail of this year, and it's like mail. It's become mail. It's like every week some more come out that are decent, good, great. You know, so this will probably be the last book of its kind that I can write because I literally can't write anything else doing it. But that's why it's been slow to me to get to things. But I will get to things. You know what I mean? If you said there's something self-help books and audios taught me is that emotional rehabilitation is a daily routine and practice. I learned taming the ego also as a daily practice. That's right. That's right. You know, that's peace of mind. Yeah, definitely, definitely. But I will star those emails and I'll get to them. But yeah, it's daily. You always got to be checking because if we're always accumulating knowledge, eventually we're accumulating power. And we always have to put that through a new equality, a new balance, a new position that it has put us into. We can't just jump and say, listen, this is me with all this power. You know, and that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? And look, this example is an example, but I can't tell you most of the people that have skills to offer and don't offer are because they hit the same roadblocks that Saladin feels that he's been in. You know, they said, listen, son, you don't really know the whole story or the way that we're going to move with this. And that's not the way to move. You can't move like that. You can't move on your own like this because you may not know what we're doing. It's that simple. And to see that people have dealt with so much more, like our brother P.E.A.C.E, remembered imperfection. P.E.A.C.E dealt with so much more, and he built so much more. You know that I'll take no excuse, and I don't have to take an excuse from anybody for having a reason for not building because they didn't like the way they were spoken to. Because if you think I've been here 22 years building this class, and I didn't get it for the right, wrong, and just totally illogical things, crazy things, you keep your composure. You keep showing improvement. Captivate. How do we captivate the attention of the youth to give them knowledge? I don't think that we do a show a song and pony dance. You know what I'm saying? What we do is we create things, create forums. You know, you want to show like you tell them that what they're doing is not cool. Then show them what's cooler than that by being cooler than that, more iller, be greater. That's how you motivate the youth, you know? You got to bring things to them. If somebody showed them that this is the way to go, then you show them, no, you don't have to go that way. You could go this way and have an actual way that they could walk. You say, don't do that, though. That's not good for you. But then you say you should do other things, but there's no way. There's no tangible way. It's all abstract goodery. Give them a real way. Give them a real forum. It's the only way. Because the truth is that the warriors that are out there that are willing to take a righteous way and fight for a righteous way, even if you don't give them that real road, those are far and few between. Those are the special ones. Those are the ones that really become the true and living God. But we're not here to go out and teach men to be God and tell them, you're God, this is the way you're going to be. That's not technically it. We're going out there to teach the people who the original man is and this way of life. And not everyone will adhere to it, but they will be affected by the righteous principles that come along with it. Mathematics. For that, you need to offer people tools. Every single thing that I've done, I'm not saying that they're the greatest tools, but whatever I think is iller, I have become it. In whatever field I was in, whether it's hip hop or anything else. And every single time I've had forums for anyone that wants to do what I'm doing to be able to do it. A lot of people don't know that. If anyone says Sunez writes so dope about hip hop, I love it, this and that, the same forums that I show myself in, I could give it to anyone else. The same place I write, you can write too. That's what you do. Not many people take that challenge, though. That's the truth. But you got to show the youth, though, what it really is. You know, what is better? What looks better? What is better? What sounds better? Papa Wu, man. Freedom Allah, man. Remembered imperfection. That's right. The language is attractive. That's right. You know? He had always the fire of integrity. There was always the acknowledgement that there's a fight for this integrity. And it appealed to everybody. Because I tell people that aren't even going to deal with this knowledge, whatever we teaching is for everybody, because we're teaching people to be able to have a complete 100% guaranteed mentality that is not looking to anyone else to save them. And no matter what religion or denomination you are, though, everybody wants that power. Everybody. I don't care how Christian they are or anybody else. If you told a Christian, now it's whether they do the work. Now, if you told a Christian, would you have the reality where you could have the complete power to give yourself the good, right, a good, respectable, righteous life, not hurting anybody else, but a righteous life with the capabilities to fulfill what you've always wanted to be, your talents fulfilled, etc., etc. They say, hell yeah. Well, there ain't no mystery. Oh, well, I'm out. You know what I mean? But that's what they want. They want that. Whether they really, really understand that they need that, understand that it's a truth that they can't really run away from, that's different. You know what I mean? That's different. But every cipher I've been in, every cipher I'm in this hip hop, ain't nobody know. Ain't nobody not know about the true living gods and what we do and how we are. And I'm not sermoning like this. I'm being me. I just be me. I show them what I'm doing. That's what you got to do. What are you doing that is worthwhile to be shared? Right? Yeah. It's all types of things. You don't know? You have family, you have children though? Show them the truth. Show your children the truth in the most, show them that. Right? All right, I'll be back in a minute. Yeah. Just let everybody know what time is it now? 7 o'clock. I'm gonna be here till 8 o'clock. So I got another hour. I don't want to rant too much, but it's important, And I get a little. That's peace, Charles Black. But all right. There's a reason why the 1 to 40, the knowledge degree, is the knowledge degree. We're knowing our history, writing our history in advance. To discern knowledge and the way that it affects everything once it is engaged is the same as the original idea. That's why I say the original idea is also knowledge. It is a truth that will be created. And then I don't know what all this stuff is. Come on. Yeah, for this last hour, I want to take questions from anybody. I don't. I want to. And a lot of times, I don't. When it's only the class online, I really don't like to get into things that aren't asked because if they're asked, I'll go into it though. But I don't go into things that aren't asked because I always like to teach to who I'm speaking to, you know, and it just makes it more real, you know. For those that really want to learn, to get y'all to consciously, you know, acknowledge that you're in the cipher. But any questions that anybody has, I'm gonna answer it though. You know, wasn't here last week, so you know. You know, but when we talk about that question about how to engage the youth, we had it easy. You know, we were engaging the youth because hip hop is so dynamic. You know, the vast majority of hip hop still deals with the knowledge of self. The longer you explore hip hop today, it's filled with the knowledge of self. It dominates. You know, but people are so much on the tip of the iceberg or what they see on mainstream media. They don't really see everything. You know, and so they don't see that we're everywhere. But in the end, it has to be a personal road. It has to be something that you do personally. You know, what are the type of forms? What are the type of realities? What are the type of creations that the true and living God would? And if you say, listen, I don't have any real talent, I'm just a regular, I live regular. I got the knowledge, but I live regular. No, but in this, you know, in this day and time, in this way of life that so few people have, you have to do something to engage your creative side. You know what I mean? What are the creative things that you engage in? You know, it's very important that in this classroom cipher, as we go along, everybody learns how to articulate themselves well. This knowledge is too important to continue to have people not being able to articulate themselves well, how to express themselves, how to have real social skills, um, how to deal with real learning. You know what I learned is that over the years, what has really faltered is that because of the internet and the reliance on that, people don't have to go seeking things. Like, for example, I'll give you an example because it's something that I did on my own. I started lifting heavy weights in 2013, like really heavy weights. You know, in other words, just for average weight, not like super bodybuilder stuff, but like for real athletics and things like that. We'll define heavy weights as significantly above your body weight, right? That's something you kind of need to learn how to do it because you can get hurt, right? But I didn't do that. I used YouTube for that. And I made a lot of mistakes. I got injuries. Of course, I did. I had ego lifts and stuff. I reached lifts that I probably shouldn't have, even with the type of benches I had, and not even benches that could support all that weight, let alone myself, right? And I just was doing stuff, whatever I saw on the internet. So I brutalized my body in a lot of ways, and it had because I didn't seek the right mentorship, right? With this knowledge, though, you see that a lot. People don't really want to learn because they're not into that type of mentorship. You know what I mean? They don't want to go under the tutelage and learn. And for those students that they're older, like, they're even close to my age, though, you better learn some humility because there's something that you were missing that you never took the chance to learn. And so now you have the responsibility to learn it, but also learn it in such a way where it could be viable to the youth that are around you. And a lot of them don't have any youth near them. Peace room. Jarrell, you said in today's degree, what does the renewal entail? When it says every 25,000 years is renewed, what is the actual meaning, or what are some alternative perspectives? What's to view it? Trying to look deeper into it as we start the month. This is an important degree. When it says we're renewing our history based on the miles of the earth. In other words, everything that you walked, right? You were realizing everything you walked, and you were what? Doing it a better way and taking all the lessons from it. That's literally what that means. And so when we say the gods, we say we write our history in advance, you're looking at what you did through mathematics, right? Remember I told you that's how you build mathematics. That's how you learn how to use mathematics, is by looking back on things and see how it went or didn't go according to supreme math in that order. And when you do that, now when you start to build, what are you saying? Well, what do we have to do? What must we do? What did we do? We'll define what we have learned and now what we actually can do. You see? And that's why it says for every 25,000 miles, right? That's why it says that, right? That's why we make our history or Quran equal to our home circumference by adding a year to every mile, right? In other words, the time lived in each way, meaning through time and space. Through time and space, the dimensions that we are learning in, how will we add on? By learning from everything that we got from those dimensions in a said time. So that way we can, plot and be so forthright that we could write it in advance and it will be so, and do it with real insight. That's a knowledge degree. That's a knowledge degree. Peace to the God, Malik. Rome, you said always master form. Make sure wear lighter weights before going heavy, but calisthenics is much better for inner strength. Oh, indeed. In my training, I've never not done everything. So I've been an everything person. I do weights, calisthenics, resistance bands. I do everything. I have a home gym, and I do everything. But when you lift, and you don't have anybody telling you and stuff like that, like you're not understanding that it's about finding the heaviest weights you can lift with complete control. But even then, it leads to experimentation, right? What can I control? So. But that's Peace, Jarrell. It's a powerful degree. It's one of my favorite degrees. A lot of times it is my favorite. I'm a writer. It's a great degree. All right, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, no, yeah. If I knew, right? Yeah. Looks so much fun in here. It's not really yellow though. It's supposed to be yellow. It's like not really yellow. It looks yellow when I look in the screen, but it is not yellow. It's more orange. I didn't know orange is our color, dark here. But anything to make it fun, right? Fun for the kids. I guess I don't know what the mentality of the choice was. You know what I mean? That's the only goal that they have. Well, you know what? It looks nice though. I like the color, so I ain't mad. Yeah, no, that's what they had. That's what we do. it does. It does look gold in the video. When I look on what I'm seeing on the stream, so it'll come out. On there. But, yeah, this is the fun room. Yeah, I see it. I see the stuff, the video games and stuff. Yeah, all right. Well, yeah. But I tell you, Dark Kim, I don't know if you heard what I was saying before, but I was critical of what Saladin wrote. You know, but and ultimately, I think that people in New York City that are here with the school, that are here around the school, and we need to add on what we know. Like, what do people know? Like I tell people I've done everything that you could do in the school, like all the technical things, clean, be on the board, whatever. But you take your abilities. If you don't know what you could do, you show your abilities, and you'll get an assignment. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of assignments. I didn't say I want to do that or this like that. Some of the stuff I was given was just because I know how to write, and it was boring. It was boring. I'm sorry, helping with the bylaws was boring. But But well, God, that's peace that you did that, Dark Him, because to me it read like petty blogger. You know what I mean? It was petty as hell. It was like I tried to save you all. Look what happened. Like look what happened. It's not. It's not. Not at all. Yeah, none of that. None of that. His criticisms. His prefacing that he has the right to criticize. The people that he mentioned in there, the gods that he mentioned are the ones that he should have took it to. He actually thought that this justified him doing that shit. And in the article I found I didn't like, God was like, "You're gonna tell us how the gods move? You just finished moving the way we don't move. You know? You just finished doing that. You're gonna tell everybody this is the way we move, and we can't move like that. We can't be sharing things like that. Why are you sharing?" It's like that Quentin Miller guy. He's a ghostwriter that gets credit, though. You're not a ghostwriter. You're not a ghostwriter. You got credit. You're in the credits. You're not a ghostwriter. You know? Dark Kim, you said when he said he hopes the people that spoke the loudest against the trade will be speaking out against this. That appeared to be a direct shot. You know what? Listen, Dark Kim, when someone takes a dart, the first person when I read the article, I was like, oh, that's for Dark Kim. I knew it was for you. It's always for you. It could be for me. It could be for anybody else. But I know that it's for you, though. Yo, the troll was on me 124/7. Every video I'm in, this and that. He makes a list, though. Dark Kim is number one on the top. It doesn't matter, Dark Kim. You're gonna be number one no matter what. You're gonna be number one. You know? It doesn't matter what list it is, though. You go, who are the Puerto Ricans that I hate the most, though? Dark Kim, P.E.A.C.E. You know what I'm saying? Right? Doesn't matter, though. You know what I mean? He's gonna be at the top of the list. Nobody gives a shit. It's gonna be Dark Kim at the top of the list. You know, the most hated, though. It's just too funny, though. You know. But it's like you're showing you didn't take the bombing, because it's like I remember at that meeting saying why it was not good, why it wasn't right, why you didn't tell anybody. You know, like I started teaching here, I had to tell everybody. People that don't even have no business knowing. I said, "Well, I'm sorry you don't know," but he knows, and he'll tell you about it. I'm started teaching here. We're telling him that you got to give a whole thing, though. Like, here's the shit that we went through. Other elders that aren't really in the day to day, they come in and say, what you teaching here? Who are you?" Well, let me tell you about myself and things like that. No, you give your damn resume. You show them proof. You get bombed, though. You don't say, "Look, they bombed me and this and that." You did the same thing everybody else does in the school. People get bombed and they don't come back with better builds. They say they don't want to build with me and then they leave. I heard many things I don't like, though. I said, "Listen, this is what I know how to do. I validated. I'm going to work on this. This is what I can do." They can always say that there's class here. There's the curriculum with everything. Get on the internet. If I got on the internet to talk about the elders that were jerks with me or passive aggressive or annoying and shit like that, man, I would have probably like 4 other books. I have 4 other books. Yeah, you haven't made it unless you have trolls. Yeah, unless you have trolls. Unbelievable. And it's like, yo, it's the all the stuff people would do. I'm telling you, what he's doing is not the first person of really worthwhile talent and accolades outside of the school in the real world, right? In the real world that we're teaching it. that actually can add on something. But you can't add on like some savior, you know what I'm saying? Like some mystery God savior, you know, they come down like Jesus Christ, you know. I have I have descended from the plains of excellence, and I'm come back to give you the fruits of what I learned. What, you know, I'm gonna say this again though. The people that sacrificed for the school, they didn't have a chance to go out into the world and really accumulate all of the wonderful things, the wonderful food, clothing, and shelter, and home, and lovely cush love, all this stuff with the skill sets that studying mathematics and alphabet and 120, and also with the father and all of his firstborn and their first fruit gave them. They had to immediately make sure that this shit continues. And they sacrificed the ability to take the very viable transmutation of this knowledge into the real world and be successful in all their undertakings. No, it's my generation after that had the opportunity to do that. And to them to come back and then look down on everybody and say, well, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that. It disrespects their sacrifice. It disrespects the actual trials and tribulations of how they learned with so much less to do so much more than you could ever imagine, with a lot of wrong done, and do it. There's no situation that's like this. You come back, if you go out in the world and build and succeed and then come back to build here, understand that you came out of college. That's college ball. This is now you're in the NBA. That's how much more difficult it is here. You were building in places where you have set standards and set racism and things like that. How you prove to be the best knower and you do this. That's not how it works here. That hierarchy isn't like that. And it's a shame that we have to see stuff like that. And honestly, I think it's a shame that, you know, people are still using, you know, COVID and other stuff to not come back and build. You know? I think that's whack too. And yeah, it's always going to be frustrating, you know, like, and you know, this is not a diss against rappers though. Rappers always look like they're balling though, but they don't, man, they got the least money that we're talking about. I'm serious. You know? They're not the ones to be saving us. You know, maybe they learn too fast from the internet, the kids, you know what I mean? They certainly learn a lot of things like wrong and incorrect though, you know? I have seen so many of the youth around me, family that are youth, say things that are way too detailed in error, you know, and that's what happens. You know, you get like one wrong thing, and you could pile up on top of it, you know. But that's what the other commentary is, that we've lost this respect for mentorship. You know what I'm saying? And we don't even seem to be respecting it in this nation. Like when we say, now you got to learn with the God. Like the gods, look, older gods used to tell me, listen, there's more to this than you don't know, and this and that. And I'm sure, like, what else could there be? But I wait. Peace. Everything's peace. Everything's peace, yeah. But the mentorship, somebody to tell you that you're wrong, like comfortable with that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be here for another half hour. We'll build about anything. And again, since if anybody's interested in any of my books or anything like that, email me. We could talk about it then. But yeah, because it's the end of the year, Christmas and all that kind of stuff for the 85 and stuff, I have everything on sale and some bonus stuff too. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I got good stuff. Malik, I didn't even see your question. Or see if it is a question. The born degree in the 1 to 14, the universe is everything, the sun, moon, and stars, and the planet made or grown from the beginning. How do you see that? I see it. I see it. Everything is created though, like I keep telling people, like, just because the planets are bigger doesn't mean that they're greater than us though. Your house, your home is bigger than us though, right? Nobody goes to their apartment though in New York City, and because the apartment is bigger than you say, wow, this apartment is supreme. It's able to hold me inside of it. You know what I mean? Right? No one is coming into a law school in Mecca and saying this building is supreme. Same thing with the planets though. You know what I mean? It's all just pieces of rock, right? Pieces of life that are put together, you know what I mean? To house this life, right? Took a little bit more time though, right? You look at things in that kind of simplicity, then it makes sense though. You know what I'm saying? Everything is made and grown from the beginning, meaning that everywhere we live, every reality that we're in though is developed over time. Simple, simple. You know why, Dark Kim? Because I read a lot of shit and I just saw petty all over it. It probably has the best part, but Dark Kim, what would have showed that he really understood what the issue was? People think that the main issue, I disagree with the trademark thing, but that wasn't the real issue. The issue was that he did something without adding on with everybody and saying, hey, is this a good idea? Can we all do this? Because then it would have been something different. But by the way he's talking, he showed that he didn't get the lesson at all. And to actually equate that all of the problems that he saw, which he made knowledge born to everybody about the problems he saw, that those are reasons why he did what he did. So not only that, God, but I'm reading on the knowledge day. On the knowledge day, I'm reading that he's the one that wrote our history in advance, though. And he's the one that saw all this to happen, though. So he's the one that walked the 25 while we was relaxing in the 25. And he came back around the whole planet and said, you know what, though? I've been around this thing, and I saw you're going to trip up right there. He's the one to tell us this shit. And he gets to tell everybody, the whole world, when you're not talking to other 5%ers, though, you're propagandizing the other 5%ers what they always say about this shit. This is why you get arguments like, oh, no, It doesn't mean that where you got it, where you this, Mecca is just another place where, no, it's not another place though. It's not another place though. Because every single other place in the world that teaches this knowledge inside a building, inside a house, inside a room, on a corner, no other place in the world represents it and is a cleaner up of falsity, incorrectness, sloppiness, innuendo that went wrong, and fixes error as official as the way it is here. This is the place you go to clean it up. Not the place where everything was taught, but this is where it was supposed to be cleaned up. You don't respect that shit. And you want to write all this kind of stuff, acting like I don't read, like I haven't written thousands of things and don't see the massive pettiness in the script. That's what bothered me, Darkim, because it's like you didn't get any of the shit that was told to you. All you did was roll your eyes at elders that you're like, well, they didn't go to school, well, they didn't get this. Everybody thought that I was doing that when I came here. And they had to be shown that I really am not doing that. I really am not doing that. I'm trying to take the best parts of what I learned in school and college, everything that I was radicalized to in other forms of revolution and all that, and put them in this greatest context and throw away everything else that I learned that was no good. With a great respect for the way people learned here. But the way he wrote it was like, y'all didn't learn from what I was doing, though, and now you're seeing the consequences, though. And he wrote it grimly. He wrote it in his most grim context. Like, I don't see you guys even having this shit too long, Might have to do this. You better build fast. You better build fast. Darkim, he doesn't know any of the things that have happened here. Doesn't know anything. Doesn't know the relationships. Doesn't know any of the people that went up to this building, to that building, to this building. I'm not mentioning anything. I'm deliberately not mentioning it shit. It's just real funny, man. It's real funny. And the truth is, God, if there was any worth in what he was saying, though, he also has diluted that too by throwing it out there like that. Because apparently, for what he said, we need like a plan that cannot be shown out there. That can't, they can't be shown out there. Well, why are you showing us the best plan that you got? Because you're waving by to what you see as a sinking ship. You guys didn't want to mess with me though, huh? You put me on a lifeboat, send me out there, That's all I read, Yeah. a teensy bit, a teensy bit more, I just, it's one thing not to respect the power, not to respect what we really can do and all that, and disagree with us. But in any cipher you build with, whether you're gonna do business with your brothers, whether you're gonna do a family business, or whether you got like family, your family members, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your pop, right? There are ways that you move, and if you get scolded, though, you don't have to ever agree with it. But if you want them to further themselves, you got to see if you learn the lesson. Because sometimes it shows that you respect. He didn't see it. He definitely didn't see it. He didn't see it that, no, just because you think you qualify doesn't mean you go out doing things in the name of everybody else. And totally disrespect the things that everybody else has done all this time. Totally disrespected because you didn't know anything. You didn't know anything. You don't know what anybody has done. You just said to yourself, they didn't do this. They're not doing anything. They didn't do this. Now, Kim, you say you was I was looking at it like, let me not take it personally and see the goods. So I mostly ignored the first paragraph with his credentials, the last paragraph when the pettiness came out. Yeah, I had the tendency to do that though. But if do you realize, like, by actually telling us not to share things and then you sharing out all of the action plan that you think needs to be done is a way of saying, like, whatever they could do good, I'm going to spill it out here anyway. Think about it like if it was battle plans, God. Like if it was battle plans, you basically said you didn't want to attack Mount Morris Park when I said it was, when it should be done on a sunny day. And you said that the sun would be in our eyes, and even though I never been up Mount Morris Park, I know how it is. Even though I never been, it's just steps, right? Even though I never been up there, and since you didn't want to do what I said, you know what though? I'm going to tell you what else you have to do to secure the fort and also not to be flanked. Well, now you just gave everybody else whatever plans could be done. And if they didn't think of it though to outflank it, now they thought about it to outflank it. Because if there's some evil business developer out there, right, that wants to do Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo and take the U Community Center, you just gave them the plan. You didn't give us anything. You gave them the plan too. As a writer, I know what you're supposed to share and what not to share. It'd be like the way we were taught though. You disagree with somebody, come back here and yell I told you so to his face. Don't go announce it. What do you think it was? That's how I took it, Dark Kim. That's what he reads in there, because he basically, by sharing his action plan and what he thinks should be done, is a way of saying, I'm just gonna throw this out there loosely. But you guys should keep that quiet. You shouldn't tell people what you're doing or let them see you argue. But this is what they need to do. They need to get an action plan. They need to do this. Serious? You did it like that, right? Yeah, that's the part I was reaching out to him about. Why put the weaknesses that can be exploited and give the game plan they could use? Yeah, that's what he did. Like, listen, I can't speak for the other gods that were mentioned in there, but if I was mentioned into some article like that, I would be tight as hell. I would be tight as hell. You dry snitched on some petty shit. It's dry snitch petty. I wouldn't trust that man with battle actions nowhere. I wouldn't trust him with the time that I'm going to the supermarket. You know what I mean? This shit is crazy. Yeah, it told your opponent your shoulder is jacked. Yeah, like unbelievable. It's just mind blowing what he did. And to do it after we had these discussions, after we told him, like, this is not agreeable, this is not this, you can't do stuff. Doesn't matter what you do, you can't do stuff, Damn the supermarket, right? Yo, he's not even gonna know what, I don't even trust this man knowing I teach you every Thursday. Isn't there enough that we give? Like, everybody knows I'm gonna be here at this time. Everybody knows I'll be available at this time. Like, that's enough that you need. That's enough. I'm gonna tell everybody what we're gonna do with this thing. Unbelievable. And in a culture where we learn not to be yapping our mouths all loud and everything. All the great leaders, we'll just take Harlem, all the great leaders of Harlem, they all got on large podiums and yelled out their message. The father's the only one quietly teaching individual to individual. You know what I mean? The only one. The Father was the only one to teach quietly, covertly, not yelling out. A lot of people don't deal with refinement though, but he had that refinement. The focus of his power, it's going to go directly to that individual, to this individual, to that one. That's part of our culture though. We don't do all that. We don't do all that yelling. You know, people in the cyphers are like, oh, look, the gods are yelling and they're all yelling amongst themselves though, but we don't walk out in the street and be yelling while the 85 is around though. Now, yes, it's a different dynamic, though. Probably shouldn't have parliaments out there if they're going to be for us the people. And people, look, I always thought people should be editing things. You know what I'm saying? They should be editing things. And they edit shit all wrong. You know, when they want to share everything that we're doing, like with the whole Brainiac Moore that was here and tried to take over the shit with all his bullshit. Everybody wanted to get his side of the story. Oh, it's a sob story. Look what they're doing to this poor man, this and that. Yeah, because you're filming shit out of context, though. The shit got nothing to do with anybody standing around, including people with the flag. None of the shit to do with you. None of it. You put bits and pieces on the internet like it's teaching people. Yeah, there's certain things that shouldn't be out there. But this shit, this shit was egregious though. You basically said, I have a lot of expertise on this. Let me show you my expertise and let me show you that you're not going to get any of this. Because I'm talking in the third person. I'm a 5%er. I'm telling you what 5%ers do, and I'm telling you that those 5%ers don't do it. And boy, I can only do it in the most gayest, most, oh my God, what are they doing? They didn't want to fuck with me. Oh my God, I'm going to do it the way I do it. You see how I do it so good? Come on. Shit has me tight though, because I'm a writer. I write. I have dissed more people than he could ever do with words that I've written though. You know? I have published more darts than his whole catalog. I know darts. I know how to write them. I know how to throw them. That was a dart, and it don't help nobody. It don't help nobody, and it's messed up. You know, it's messed up. And tell him what color shoes, right? Yeah, you're gonna snitch the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Shit. And no experience in this shit either. You know? No experience in this fucking shit either. You know? He didn't sit with none of the elders. He hasn't been told anything. He doesn't know the pitfalls. He doesn't know what it's like to see, you know, have to do shit yourself where you don't know how to do anything. You don't know any of that. Our own peers knew this, though. Good, great gods of our own peer group, our own age group, right, Dark Hair? Our own age group did so much more than that and took so much more bullshit. And I think of Siakil immediately. Never broke protocol like that. And they said things to him that I'm sure with what I read there and what I've been seeing, he couldn't even hold it. He'd be shaking in his boots. Because if we talked aggressive like that, if we talked aggressive like that to him in that meeting, and we were like, listen, you can't do stuff without being told. It don't matter. It really don't matter in essence what the hell you did. You can't do something that serious that affects everybody without telling everybody, without asking, without seeing if we got a plan, without, you know, like even disrespecting. We had, like we hadn't thought about that. God, We were sitting here every day. Every day we're sitting here and seeing people grab. We're walking to tables though and taking people's. That's bullshit flag. Oh, you don't know shit like that? We're taking it back. We did all that. And you're acting like we never thought. Like, imagine if there was a way, blah blah blah. Nobody could allowed to use it. Like, we didn't think of that shit. And he didn't come to the show and prove. Perpendicular to the computer screen. Yo, it's unacceptable to use your forum though. You know, a lot of people respect my writing about hip hop because everything I write in there, whether it's bad or good, I'll say it to your face. It don't matter if I love your work or if I don't like your work though. If I wrote about, I would say it to your face. I don't write anything I wouldn't say to your face. You know what I mean? And so it makes you humble. You try to be respectful. You make sure that what you're saying is really true. Well thought out. Not petty. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. Brothers gave him a lesson. He didn't like the way it sounded though. And he's like, listen, I don't like that. I've done too much though. I don't like you guys telling me not only that I shouldn't have done it, but that I can't do what I feel like doing. That's what I learned from that. And all of his good action plan, though, he shared it with the world. So it's compromised. It's compromised. You know what I'm saying? It's compromised. It's like if we're going to watch, if a guy was being petty and he's on a baseball team and he gets mad and he gives away all the pitcher signs, you know? All the pitcher signs, like all of them. What they should be doing is pitching this way and that way, and then when they go here, they pitch it this way. Did the whole thing. No? Piece of the God symmetry. Now we have to learn from this though, because we see somebody that has been representing this nation in all types of forms though. Internet, books, you know, every single place that you could think of, and has been very successful. Very successful. And you know what I don't like too? Is that it allows people that are out here making lists of hadith about the Father. Though. The Father did this, the Father did that. Father never used hand sanitizer when he was alive. He never used it. How dare you use that? You know what I'm saying? This is how we think. Like shit that never existed though. They'll be on it though. The hadith of the Father though, you know? This mouse, the Father never used the mouse. You push those letters some other way. You don't use no animal to move your cursor. This is the shit that we're dealing with today. And when we see somebody like Saladin doing petty shit like that, it lets people think that they are justified to say, you know what, all of the learning that we got out there, it is not transmutable, it is not usable, it is not applicable here. What it is that he didn't, to get this knowledge, the way I got it, is that I learned from to many schools of thought. I went to many schools of thought. And I came to the Supreme Almighty School. That's a difference. And I respect mentorship. That's why I know martial arts. Without paying, I've never paid a dime to learn that. I understood mentorship, and there were mentors all around. It's why I could teach this knowledge. We respected mentorship. You don't respect the shit. They don't respect the shit that when you get bombed up, you're like, I gotta do better. I gotta come back the next day and do better. You know what I mean? It's real weak, man. It's real weak. And the fact, and you know what? It should make people mad, especially those guys that he mentioned in the article specifically. Why did he mention them? He mentioned them to show you that, look, they're unqualified. They're unqualified to me. And until they get their shit together, maybe they should keep quiet about the shit. They're unqualified. He's a fucking doctor too. Right? It's unqualified. Like I said, no, none of us is rich off this knowledge though. But go out there and get all of the accolades you can get in the name of Allah. And come back and give what you can. That's what we teach this generation. That's what I was taught as my generation. But don't act like that's the same thing as sacrificing your daily life now while it is not made to keep this thing running. When you don't have the tools, when you don't have the opportunity to go. That's different. And that's what these gods sacrificed. That's what they gave. But he looked down on it. He looked down on it and said, oh, they must not be that smart enough to know that what I did was something. Like they never thought of the idea. It's crazy. It's crazy. Knowledge. Like I said, knowledge. Knowledge is never the same when it leaves your mouth. So make sure that what you learn is actually used, how it's going to be used, is going to be infused with your emotion. No matter what you do. I don't care what it is. People say, oh, Sunez, you say I dropped knowledge. I didn't drop any. I gave you my understanding. It is filled with knowledge for you to extract, to interpret, to learn from. But you better make sure, just like I have, that whatever knowledge you learning, not only that you make sure it's knowledge, but you make sure that how it changes you doesn't emotionally guide your next step in the wrong way. Because now we see somebody sure that they had lots of knowledge. And look the way it came out. It's fucking bullshit. That's why I can't, I teach the whole class. I don't have patience for that. There's so much you can do with your power, though. I've written about hundreds of artists, though, that manipulate, they do devilishment, they make great music, they do devilishment, all that kind of shit. And you can use your power to say, listen, he's a piece of shit, he's this, he's that. You try to analyze it as real as it is, as what it is. Sometimes it gets brutal. But you don't let your emotion change the way you're dealing with things, You see, symmetry, there is a difference, right, between knowledge and information. But what I'm saying is that knowledge itself, actual knowledge, once you have it, it will change you. And that is an emotional response that we all get out of knowledge. And so now when you use that knowledge and you wisdom it, you come to an understanding it is filled with emotional charge. And when it is lived out as a culture, that charge is what power is. That's the extension. That's the power. Your power is filled with it. That's why when we deal with supreme mathematics, I keep telling students, use supreme mathematics to define your principles so you know how to move. And you don't move like that. I couldn't deal for all the good that he does. Talents, massive talents. I don't want to be stuck on no battlefield with him. I don't want to be stuck in no ball team with him. I don't want to be stuck in anything. Darkim, you said I hate to pile up, but being that you bring it up, I failed to see the validity of his claim that his trademark would help us in any way, and specifically in this situation, or am I missing something? Yeah, I did it. It almost was like the government doesn't have, you guys don't have anything to validate yourselves, and at least the trademark would have validated that we are reality. And I said this before, and I said it loud. You want validation? Not me, not Darkim. How about that this school is functional and has affected the whole world? How about If Mega's Allah School in Mecca page? Because every single person they're building though has either come through here or has been affected by this from here. This entire world, the entire community. You want to know the proofs that this is community center? That's the work of Inf Mega the last couple of years. That's his entire work. That this is viable in the community, that it affects the community, and that it extends beyond even this community. There's no place like that the school affects beyond the community, unless you get schools that put out people that become famous in other places. We affect communities beyond this Harlem community, and people aren't even famous. Some of them are, but people generally, a lot of them ain't even famous like that. Because there's a distinct way of teaching, a distinct pedagogy, a distinct approach to the youth. Validate ourselves because we didn't let this guy use a trademark. We didn't let that. They said, yo, Dark Kim, you know this better than most. We're supposed to make sure that this guy's a true and living God. Man, people accept music from people saying that they killed 100 niggas because from the block they from. So as long as he doesn't wear the flag, though, he could keep telling lies and shit like that. How are we supposed to validate music? Entertainment. And if it was, though, that's definitely not his role either. That'd have been mine a long time ago. All I know 793rd, though, is that nobody's penning no articles about me. Nobody's penning no articles about me. For as good as I write, though, nobody wants it. Nobody wants that. Nobody. And you know what, though? This is not even a conversation that I want to go back and forth with. You know what I'm saying? And certain people know that when I have a problem with certain people, though, I come up here and we'll handle it a different way if you don't want to handle it the righteous way. But this back and forth penmanship, this is not how you handle that. No? It just was... You didn't think that you were writing something wrong here? All the experience? And I said, listen, this is what happens when you don't know the audience. Saladin, I've read some of his books. I've read his columns over the years, and I've always felt that the way he targets his audience is all wrong. He speaks to the 85, but he gives them details that's only those that are in the culture, and he teaches people how we actually live, supposedly, allegedly. The things that we do as a culture and a nation, particular things. Instead of teaching what this knowledge is. No. Write a piece proving that the black man is God. Don't write a piece about when you get the flag, you got to do this, you got to do that. When the gods meet here in the corner, they do this. This is how we talk to each other. No, that's not for that. No, that's not for that. This is different. And so I've always felt that his audience, though, has always been skewed to that confusion. And I'm saying that from somebody, again, not just my own authorship, but the authorship of others. Whether it was editing along with Supreme and P.E.A.C.E, whether it was editing all three of Starmel's books, made certain that it's very particular who the audience is, who the 85 is, and what's the truth that they should come to get. But not just telling them, though, the experiences of mentorship. Oh, we do this and we do that. That's different. That means you're telling. And some people are not teaching, they're telling. That's different. And the continued breach of telling and teaching is what gets you in situations like this. Just don't come at me with no shit, though. I've shown Saladin a lot of love, and to me, this is love. This is the truth, and that shit is not right. That man has done too much in the communities that's good to be doing this petty shit. And you know what, though? It's not... Listen, I don't have a criminal life. I don't have anyone to look at. You know, unless you want to look at records that I've stole, though, because it's quite a bit. But that's not criminal. That's good. That's good stuff. I needed to hear those records. But You have to understand this comes through the street. And you have to understand the ethics and principles that come with that. That they are not devilish, though, that they actually were how people survived. Symmetry, you said if you don't know Dean in person, please don't be added on with any sideline chant. Sunez is more qualified to bomb and some are not. Yeah, I appreciate that, God. Damn right. The God emblem. Oh, yeah. Spoken said. The God emblem always knew this. Always knew this. Always has known this. You know, one of the sharpest though. You know, and it's like, come on, man. We got to do better than that. You know, you really love this nation like that. You're gonna say, listen, I'm not doing nothing with them. They said something to me I didn't like, and I'm not doing it with them. But they need this information. I'm gonna throw it at them, or I'm gonna give it to somebody that could give it to them in the nation. Yo, God, I don't really F with them. They don't F with me. I'm gonna give them this. Take this, God. Tell them that this is validated information to go look this up. They could use this, and it goes. Nah, I didn't do that. You use your forum to say shit like that. And there's good brothers on there with the knowledge, though, that don't really know. And they're like, yeah, see, guys don't want to add on and build. And they think that the article is right and exact and stuff. They wasn't here. They wasn't here. Look at all the elders that passed. They wasn't here with Allah B. They wasn't here with Umala. They wasn't here when Khalim was here. They didn't see anything. And I mentioned all these names because some of them I loved and some of them I don't really like. You know? That shit has nothing to do with it. That shit has nothing to do with it. You know? This isn't Scarface, though. You know what I mean? You do what you want to do, and it goes, I never like him. You know? Now you do what you want, though. You don't want to help. You didn't want to help. Just stay on the sideline then. That's what you have to do. We got to do better with this knowledge, man. We got to do so much better, you know? And there's got to be if you go out there and make a world for yourself, you make a valuable life, understand there's a different sacrifice, though. And I'm saying that from personal experience, though. To make a life, though, where you're teaching here is a different sacrifice, though. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of things I lost for the consistency I gave to the school. That's a fact. I'm not saying that for any kind of pity or anything, because whatever I lost, though, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't have regret. Yeah. Yeah. You write about some infighting. You said to keep the infighting off the internet. Don't record that stuff. But then you wrote about it. It's classic reporter shit. Petty reporter shit, though. You know what I'm saying? You know? The gods that I have seen deal with this issue, I don't like everybody in this nation. And I think some of the people in this nation I don't do stuff with because I don't like the way they dealt with stuff, though. But when I know something that could really help with this nation, I would never let anyone get in the way. I would not. I either don't add on or find a way to give it to them so they can make their own decision whether to add on with it. But I'm not going anywhere and saying, he's this, that, you know? Nah. Certainly not in no public forum, man. I got a nice record of telling people to their face that they ain't shit. So then speaking on published piece, describing one's action when taking petty shot, not bomb, and just speaking on one's action concerning the school. Yeah, you know? And that's the number one thing. That's like, Everybody that comes to work and add on to school, I appreciate. I don't say I like everybody. I appreciate because they don't have to. They don't have to. You know what I'm saying? That's the real simple thing. They don't have to. You know what I mean? You know? But listen, it's past 8 o'clock. I've been here since the power hour, so you take on the role. You find the role if you can't. You try everything if you can't find the role. You try every role to see if someone fits. You know? This role here, teaching here, this one fit me like a glove. You know what I'm saying? Right? But I had to punch with that glove. I had to block with that glove. I had to write with that glove, right? You have to do a lot of things. But I invite people to take a beef physically. You know? To take a beef physically. You know, I invite when I've had issues with people in this nation. I said, listen, if we can't fix it that way, we have to fix it the other way, but it's all in private. You know, gotta find a better way. We're not doing this for ourselves though. We're doing this for the children. You know? This shit has nothing to do with us though. You know, Savior Knowledge used to always teach me and say, listen, it's not a sacrifice. It's not a sacrifice. If you got 2 pencils and you give away 1. It's a sacrifice if you give your only pencil. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people can give to this nation, but a lot of people show that they really can't sacrifice. And in this case, sacrifice that that your ego got shot. And that maybe you did something that wasn't right and exact, and you have to learn. You have to learn principles and ethos that you're not really accustomed to. And why? And when you learn it though, then then you'll learn something. You know? But that's all I have to say about that. You know what I mean? But yo, Symmetry, yeah. Peace to the God emblem, man.
Please. Yeah, baby.
You know?
Go in. Baby, go inside.
You know, but we gotta build better. We gotta build better. You know, see some shit like that. And I speak for a very emotional place too. I love this school. You know? This is my home. You know? Anybody want to? And I said, listen, be very careful though. Don't be thinking you're gonna write some dark piece though. Saladin, when you do the knowledge to this though, be very wary. Be alert. You're not getting too many chances though. Okay? Do the knowledge though. Because all these dark pieces, it's not it though. It's not it. No. I thought you would have got that dark shit out of your head. We're doing the album with the guy. Come on, man. Shit came out good. You need to keep it there. Keep the darts for the albums. You know? For other rappers, you know, imaginary rappers that are whack. You know what I mean? Peace, God. With this said, I got my email there. Anything about anything. You know what I was saying too about giving students forms and stuff. Listen, if anybody is willing to write, anybody ever wanted to do something with hip hop journalism or anything like that, I have forums though. Like you wouldn't be writing stuff and then it wouldn't go published when it was good enough. I would have a place for it. You know, that's what we do. We give forums, you know, and I've always had a forum available, you know, but it depends what people want to do, you know. Right, so I'm gonna let it go at that though. It's a tough knowledge day. You know, I was saying everybody was gonna be wrong today though. So I spoke on a lot of wrong today. But let's make it right, though, right? Peace.